If you watched my recent AI film and have been wondering how I actually made it, then this video is for you. Today, I'm breaking down my full workflow behind that film and showing you exactly how I took it from static images into a finished cinematic sequence. Now, this is not going to cover concept development or script writing. We are skipping all of that and jumping straight into the production side of the process. In this tutorial, I'll walk you through stages I use. First is start frame generation, basically how I create the cinematic keyframes that establish the visual identity of each shot. Then we'll move into video generation, where I animate those keyframes into believable dynamic sequences with emotion, camera work, and realism. So by the end of this video, you will understand the exact workflow I use to create AI films like the one you saw. If you're ready, let's get into it. Now, before start frame generation, the first thing I actually did was generate my reference sheet and environment sheet. This reference sheet is taken from a character Bible, and all I did was convert the description of each character into a grid image. So we have 4 images showing the front view, the 3/4 view, the side view, and the full body view of that particular character. For each character, I generated a character reference sheet, and that was how I got their reference image. Then after generating those grid images, the next thing I did was generate another image for each location, for each scene. What we are trying to do here is replicate the whole process of real-life filmmaking, but this time inside AI filmmaking. So for every location in the film, we create an image for that location. If there is a specific setting in the story, we generate an image for it. That is how I got all these different images for each location. These are the things we are going to reference when generating our start frames. But before we generate our start frames, we need to storyboard everything. Now, in AI filmmaking, storyboarding is basically the process of visually planning each scene and shot in your film in sequence before production, serving as a blueprint that guides image generation, camera composition, motion, and the overall cinematic flow. That is what storyboarding is. Now, what we are trying to do is generate grid images for each scene. For every scene, we generate a grid image, and that could be 2x1, 3x3, or whatever layout fits depending on the number of shots in that scene. So for each scene, we are taking all the start frame prompts we got from our image generation prompts and copying all those shot lists for that particular scene, then converting them into a grid image using a prompt. The prompt is actually on my Telegram channel, so you can download it from there. To get those grid images, you need to reference the characters in each scene, and you also need to reference the location. So you reference both the character and the environment reference. We have character reference and we have environment reference. For example, if you have 2 characters in a scene, you will reference those 2 characters plus the environment image, making 3 images total. If you have 3 characters, then you will reference 3 character images plus 1 environment image, making 4 images total. That is how you structure it. After getting that grid view of your storyboard, all you have to do is copy the start frame extractor. You then use the start frame extractor to extract each shot. So after doing all of that, you extract each image, and now you have your start frame for every shot. Once I finished extracting all those images, the next thing I moved into was video generation. There are 2 approaches I followed in this particular film. I used image to video and I also used text to video. Both of them work perfectly, but they serve different purposes. They both maintain character and scene continuity, but I use them in different situations, and I will explain exactly how that works. For my generation, I use a platform called OpenArt. One thing about OpenArt is that it is one of the cheapest platforms, and it has basically everything you need to create your own AI film today. So if you have not joined OpenArt yet, you can use the link in the description of this video. What I did there was very simple, and it is something you can replicate. The first thing I did was create my characters again inside OpenArt. To do that, all I had to do was click on create character, then start from an image. After that, I uploaded the character image, named the character, and created the character. That was how I got all these characters inside the platform using their grid images. After creating your characters, the next thing you do is go to the video section. Now inside OpenArt, all you have to do is click on video in the sidebar, and that will take you to the video page. Once you are there, the next thing you need to do is choose your model. For image to video, I use Kling 3. For text to video, I use Kling 3 Omni. I also make use of Veo 3.1 Fast. So those are the 3 video models I use: Kling 3, Kling 3 Omni, and Veo 3.1 Fast. I use all of them, but especially Kling, I use it most often. Now the way I decide which one to use is very simple. Whenever I have a shot where the character's face is fully shown, I use image to video. So if the face is clearly visible, I use image to video for that. But whenever the character's face is not fully shown, I tend to use Omni instead. And just like I said earlier, both of them serve different purposes. One thing they both have in common though is character consistency. That is also one reason I use Kling 3 Omni a lot, because with it, you can reference your character directly. You can upload and reference your character, and you can also toggle on multi-shot. So all you do is add the characters you uploaded into the reference field. For example, here I added Nadia Voss and Sofia Alvarez, referenced both of them, and then carried out my generation. That was how I was able to generate those videos while maintaining consistency. Now, if you are using Omni, one thing you will notice is that I did not reference the environment in cases where I already had the start frame. Basically, if I already have the start frame, I do not need to reference the environment again. But in a situation where you do not have a start frame and want to generate directly using Omni, then all you have to do is reference the environment. You upload the environment image and create a background reference. The same way you go to character creation, you can also create a background. You simply click on background, upload your environment image, and create the environment reference. Then during video generation, you reference that environment together with your characters. That way you maintain both character consistency and scene consistency. That was exactly how I achieved that in my film. After that, you can generate all your videos, and if you want to upscale them after generation, you can do that as well. So once all of that was done, the next thing I moved into was generating my background music using free tools. I'll say this clearly, I use Minimax audio to generate my background music. Their music is royalty free. They are not affiliated with this video or anything like that. I just genuinely want to mention them because they are free and you can use them yourself. That is where I got all my background music from, and I have had no copyright issues with Google when using them. So for me, they work really well for that purpose. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, I will be talking more about my video editing process and how I edited the final film in a future video. I will show you more of that in subsequent tutorials. So if you liked this video, please click the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and share this video with anyone you think will benefit from this tutorial. I'll see you in the next video. Lights out.